Good morning, member IIDI, my industry colleagues, all the invitees and guests. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you this morning. Always very difficult task to follow the regulator on the same subject, but let me just change gears and talk about this vision from industry perspective. Firstly, the good news. I think the best news is we have vision now. I've been in life insurance industry now for more than 18 years. 16 years of that, we had no vision of where we are headed. So it was like an yearly affair. We will have a plan that we'll run towards. So firstly, thank you to IIDI and especially Chairman IIDI for bringing this vision. I firmly believe that vision, planning, and dreaming is the first step towards anything that we end up achieving. And whether we cover each and every person or we cover 90% of that, I think it is very important to have the first step. Like member IIDI was mentioning, it is not an option. It is not a discretionary thing that we have to do. It is something which is important. Because insurance is not about prosperity. It is about dignity. It perhaps caters to the basic foundational needs of human beings. It is about resilience. It is about risk management. It is about protecting one's assets. And hence, this vision of 2047 insurance for everybody is perhaps more important than anything else that we discuss about prosperity or having more money. It is very foundational. Coming from the industry view, and all of us always discuss about this big penetration gap that exists for insurance, life insurance, general insurance, and health insurance, for the last 2 decades. In all the presentations, you will find that. Why isn't that gap being covered quickly? We have made progress, but not at the pace that we would have wanted. For example, look at life insurance. While the number of policy data is very hard to get, my sense is that we will have about 30 crore individual policies, 30 to 35 crore. But if one were to look at the number of policies, and you could debate that for 140 crore people, there will be 35 crore households, so we are pretty much covered. But if you really look at what we have ended up covering, the average sum assured of every policy is only a little over 3 lakhs. And that 3 lakhs is just good for 1 year. So while we have sold many policies, we have not focused on the basic ingredient, which is sum assured, the risk. The coverage is 3% and for life insurance of GDP, and one could argue that that's good because countries like China and many other countries have penetration similar to 3%, but what we have sold is savings and not really protection. Coming to rural areas where we have close to about 90 crore people. The survey that we run every year as Axis Max Life Insurance, the India Protection Quotient, the coverage of insurance is only 12%. So 90 crore people have the coverage of only 12% people being covered, and 10% of that is Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, which means really the penetration or coverage by the life insurance companies is only 2%. So what we are talking about is huge under coverage, under penetration of life insurance. Let's talk about general insurance. 1% of GDP as per 2023 Swiss report. Global developed economies of 4%. So there is a 3% delta. Maybe about 20 to 30% people will have a comprehensive coverage covering their asset as well as health. So big gap there. Talking about retirement, growing need, the people more than 60 years of age growing at 3%, and by 2050 we'll have 35 crore people who would be retired or more than retirement age, and they will require coverage not for their life but for longevity risk. And right now the coverage there is maybe 10%. So if you look at all the elements of life insurance, general insurance, health insurance, retirement, there's a big need for us to continue to drive. So the big thing is, why didn't we do it? I mean, industry got privatized 24 years ago. Why didn't we do it? There are 2 or 3 things that I will really like to call out. Firstly, I agree with member idea's perception that somewhere we are just trying to do what is obvious to us. So any extra effort which is required towards product innovation, new markets, technology, I think the industry has been slow. But more than that, I think there are 2 or 3 basic things that we need to keep in mind. Firstly, awareness. I don't think collectively as an industry we have put so much focus towards creating awareness, and I'm very happy my colleague sitting here, Kamlesh, is leading an effort to create awareness for life insurance, and I'm sure General Insurance Council is also trying to drive awareness. I think we will have to launch a big program towards creating awareness, because in the absence of awareness, which is the first step towards creating consideration and the need to buy, we will not grow. The second one is affordability. If you look at the average ticket size of life insurance policies that private life insurance companies sell, it will be like 1 lakh. If you look at it for LIC, it will be maybe 15 to 20,000 rupees. Now, not everybody can afford that. So, I think insurance is not, we always say in life insurance that people don't wake up one day to say, oh, I want to buy life insurance or insurance. It is lower in the need hierarchy from a tangible value perspective. I think it is important, but it is not urgent need of people. And hence, creating a price point or affordability is important where people can easily buy it and it doesn't cost much. So that's the second thing. And then the third one is about innovation, product creation. I think we all should be guilty, or we are guilty of focusing too much on revenue, less on sum assured. I think that orientation must change. So I think unless we focus on these 2 or 3 elements, it becomes hard for us to drive penetration. And if I really reflect on my journey, I think those are things that we need to work on as we go along. So what do we need to do to drive this universal penetration? I think if you ask me, the biggest challenge is about creating a distribution infrastructure for us to reach out to people. And the traditional models that the industry has followed with agency, with bank assurance, with brokers, I don't think we will be able to get there. I think we will have to think differently. Digital has a big role to play for this to happen. Taking the distribution down to every level is very important. For many of you, IIDI actually changed the rural requirement for the industry. Now we have to go to every gram panchayat and we have to cover people. So hopefully that will help. But I think creating a commercial model for us to reach out to everybody through a distribution vehicle is perhaps the biggest challenge that we need to crack. Have we got there yet? The answer is no. We are all very optimistic about Bima Sugam and Bima Wahak, but I think we will have to collectively as an industry work towards making it successful. The second one, like I mentioned to you, creating awareness, making investments, coming together as an industry, have a common pool of resources that we're deploying to make sure that more and more people come to know about it. Just to throw a data point, through IPQ, we do this every year. We ask people in urban areas whether they are aware of term as a category. 70% people said they are aware. We asked how many people or what percentage of people own. 30% people said they own. And then the third question was, do you think this term coverage is sufficient? Only 15%. So if the top 25 cities, only 15% of people feel that they have adequate coverage, imagine if we were to go down and find out, I think this term coverage will be sub 2%. So there is a lot of work that we still need to do, and I think product innovation will play a big role. Creating reinsurance capacity, because life insurance, general insurance companies share risk with the reinsurers. Creating reinsurance capacity will also be required. I think in the innovation journey, we need to have more and more partners. Left to us to bear all the risk, it becomes more difficult. And having availability of data. I think creating or leveraging the public data structures or digital sources of data. Maybe from Ayushman Bharat, we're doing some work about our own IIB data, but more than that, figuring out data sources so that we are able to make quicker decisions will also be very important. So I think to summarize, the industry, all of us need to think very differently. That's the only way we will be able to drive. It's a big challenge, but it's a great challenge that we must collectively as an ecosystem face and win over, because that's the only way India is going to develop. Thank you very much.